Hello there, I'm Scotty. You're not. And welcome to what will be. And I'm putting my foot down on this one. My final review for Halloween Horror Month. I have some top tens I need to get done, but this is my final review for Halloween Horror Month. Doesn't mean I'm not going to do any more reviews this month, but like I gotta get back to the supernatural retrospective is what I'm talking about. But yeah. And I haven't even watched any of it yet, but I may still do that Tron Uprising video. I haven't even started watching those yet, but I don't know. But let's kick some ass for the Lord as we talk about Braindead, also known in America as Dead Alive. This was directed by uh, Peter Jackson, who would go on to do King Kong, which is the connection here, The Lord of the Rings, and one of my personal favorites, The Frighteners. So, yeah. This takes place in New Zealand, filmed in New Zealand as well, because, that's where Peter Jackson is from. Peter Jackson himself makes an appearance in the film as a scientist, or a funeral home's, a mortician's assistant or something like that, whatever. And the story is that after a creature is smuggled off an island and ends up at the zoo, it bites a lady, and then that starts a zombie infection in Wellington, New Zealand. This is known to be one of the goriest movies ever made, and oh my god, it's also one of the grossest. So don't do like I did. Don't eat while watching this, because I thought I was making a supper. I'm gonna watch this while I eat my supper. Don't. And this movie was out to get me, because when I had a second helping, so I had my first helping, and then there was a gross scene on, and then I stopped, and then it got normal. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get seconds. As soon as I got seconds, I started eating more grossness. Peter Jackson, how could you? So yeah, my it's not good for the appetite. Don't eat while watching this movie. Uh, but yeah, we start off on Skull Island, home of King Kong. Yes, Skull Island, where we have Sumatran rat monkeys. Apparently, something that Peter Jackson would actually nod to in his King Kong that is very, very long. His King Kong movie. With a little box on a ship or something says Sumatran rat monkeys. But yeah, this guy is trying to smuggle one out to put in a zoo in New Zealand. It baffles me that it's not American, because you feel Americans would capitalize on something like this. But no, it's someone from New Zealand. And he gets bit. The locals then dismember this dude, but the Sumatran rat monkey does get out. Yeah. By the way, eventually we find out the origin of these. Don't think we needed one. Peter Jackson. I don't think we needed one, especially if you're going to go something as explicit as rats having their way with monkeys and creating these creatures. Yeah, I don't say having their way, they use the R word, but I'm not going to. Graping monkeys, yes, rats graping monkeys, which rats are smaller than monkeys, so I don't know how that works, but okay. And the creature is presented in is a stop motion thing, which is pretty cool. There are some pretty good effects. We meet Paquita, who is a how is it? I think I saw it pulled up on here. Hold on. No, it's YouTube. Hold on. But I still haven't. I heard the search earlier. She is a. Paquita Marla Sanchez, a Spanish Romani and New Zealand shopkeeper's daughter. Yeah. And she's trying to hook up with this one dude, and her grandmother takes her back and goes, "Oh, this is the man who you will fall in love with." She's like, "Well, that doesn't look like that guy I was just throwing myself at." No, these are true love. And I'm like, okay. And so this guy walks in, Lionel, who ends up being this true love. The star will point the way via licorice, apparently. Say black licorice. That's what they call it, black licorice, but that's what licorice is the black licorice. Anyway, so yeah, it's this guy who she like throws herself at. He nearly gets hit by a trolley, and then, or whatever they call it, and he gets on it. It looks like one of those cars from San Francisco, those bus things, the bus card things, and jumps on it. That's kind of funny. We find out he lives with his overbearing mother, but he realizes he is smitten with Paquita, and she's got stalker vibes, man. She's got stalker vibes, because like she shows up at his house and starts talking. "You will take me on the zoo? To the zoo? You want to go to the zoo? Yes, please." Okay, sure. I'll take you to the zoo, sure. So you go to the zoo, and the mom follows them there. She gets bit by the Sumatran rat monkey who's in the zoo. She kills it, but she ends up getting taken home, and she gets infected by this thing. We have one of the first grossest scene in this, where this couple stops by for lunch, and it's just one of the grossest things. They're eating the food, and specifically the custard scene. I'll never eat custard again, or yogurt, or not custard, pudding, which is what I think are custard in other places around the world. I think it looks very thin custard here. I mean, the guy's eating, and like this pus stuff flies out of the mom, and he, "Woo, nice and creamy." I'm just like, no. And then her ear falls on her own custard, and she tries to eat it. No. So he decides to put her in the basement, but she does get out. A nurse comes to visit her, and she dies, but she becomes, a zombie. But I do like this effect. She kills the nurse by ripping her head off, right? So like when the nurse reanimates the zombie, the head keeps popping back. You get this sound. It's gross. It is gross. This is what it is. When I first started eating my food, it was the dinner scene with the custard. Then it stopped, so I started getting seconds. And then this scene with the nurse and the decapitations and stuff happened. And I went, "Oh, come on, man." I actually had to pause it and watch something else to finish my supper before going back to the movie. That's how it was. Right. We had the funeral. His uncle, who obviously is only interested in money, shows up and says, "Oh, hey, you kept the place very good, huh?" Right, and then like, and there's a whole scene where he tackles her through the thing. We get our Peter Jackson cameo, but like she tackles her through the door, and they're like, "Oh," and then they bury her, but she's not dead, right? So he goes to dig her up again. I guess the nurse is still at the house. He goes to dig her up again, and that's when all hell breaks loose. There's this gang that is hanging out in the graveyard for some reason, and they get infected. Then Father Magruder shows up, and this is where we get the line of this movie everyone remembers: "I kick ass for the Lord." So he knows kung fu and karate moves apparently, but he also gets bitten and turns into a zombie. So now he's got all these. This is what the movie sort of started with me. I'm like, why does he keep taking these zombies to his house? Because I'm like, it's clear that, because I'm watching this, and I said it's clear when they were writing this, they didn't want the zombie outbreak. That they didn't want it to be a straight up zombie outbreak. But I'm sitting here going, what about the guy that ate the custard? Because we see him again later and he's perfectly fine. Are you telling me that they bite you or scratch you, you get infected? But if you eat the pus from them, it's fine? I thought he was going to turn, but I guess not. Also, they all just turn when it took the mom forever to die and then turn. I think they just die, or they're killed and then they turn. I don't know. But he keeps shoving them into the basement. And at one point, their uncle shows up again. Very much, you can tell he wants this house. And you hear fucking noises. And it turns out Father Magruder, the zombie, is doing it with the nurse. Mind you, the nurse's head that goes all the way back. Yeah. At this, this results in a rapid baby birth. This zombie baby thing that he has to chase around a park. This just becomes slapstick. It's just like Zombie Baby Days Out that he has to chase around. Hey, props to the actor. Bomb. Timothy Baum. Hey, props to you, man. You did a pretty good job. It's just, yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention that Paquita shows up the next day at when the nurse is there looking at, or not the nurse. When the nurse is there, she eats Paquita's dog. But Paquita still doesn't know really what's going on at this point. But yeah. But then when the Uncle Les comes back, when Lionel comes back with the baby in a garbage can or whatever it is, he finds that the door is open and starting to freak out. And he's like, okay, everything's fine. But then Les comes on and goes like, oh, hey, you have dead bodies down there. Give me the house and all the money or I'm calling the police. Basically, that's the gist of it, but it takes a while. He's like, oh, maybe I'll just call the police. And he's like, you want the money, don't you? Fine. And he just kind of, take me to the police, please. The money and the house, then. It's like, so he decides, even though there are dead bodies down there, because he keeps using these twinkles. I like when he goes to see this German dude. He's like, I need sedatives. I don't have sedatives. Tranquilizers I do have. But, yeah. So now he's got these dead bodies in there, and he's like, okay, we're going to have a party. And this is where you're like, okay, this is where shit's going to happen. Oh my God, this shit happened. Oh my God. This was like you're watching this and you go, oh, this is one of the goriest movies ever made. And it's kind of gory, but it's not, I wouldn't say it's one of the gore. It's the party, man. It's the party. If someone told you that the Society has some of the best practical effects you'll ever see, and you're watching it before the shunting, and you go, oh, these are just fine. Compare this to the shunting from that movie. That's what it is. There's probably a little more gore effects than there is in that one, but it's like, oh, blood goriest? This climax is definitely the goriest part of the movie. Because there's like, the zombies that are in the basement get out, start to attack the guests. Including Uncle Les, who was revealed to be wearing a hairpiece. Because of course he does. Because he tries to make a moves on Paquita, who shows up to make amends with Lionel. Who explains the situation to her. So they decide it's time to inject them with poison. And kill them. They're already dead, so I don't know what this is supposed to do. But apparently it's an animal stimulant, not a poison. So it makes them freak out. That's when they start to attack everything. Yes. And the party guests that are bitten are going to be infected and everything. Blah blah blah. At one point, Lionel's thrown through a window. He survives and comes back with a freaking lawnmower. Yeah. And just starts. There's one point that Lionel's upstairs having a fight with what seems to be a colon that keeps farting at him. It's going. He takes care of that. But he keeps like. Paquita also puts the zombie parts in a blender to mulch it more. Les decides to run onto the basement where Vera cuts his head off. Decapitation! And she's now a big monstrous thing that comes out of the basement just as you think it's over. Nope, mama time. I should also mention, at one point, Lionel hides in the attic. Now, somebody haven't mentioned, throughout this film, he's shown to have a fear of water, and he explains to Paquita when they're at the zoo that when he was a kid, he almost drowned, and his dad came in to save him, but he drowned. And I thought, okay, this is going to lead to him having to save Paquita from like somewhere in the water. No, because the big twist with this was because he keeps seeing flashes of something, and like there's a woman in there. Well, it's revealed because he finds pictures. This is what happened. He beat you over the head thing in this movie, and there's a lot of it. But he finds pictures of his dad with another woman, and then the woman's corpse upstairs. And how did that not smell all these years? And that's when his memories return. Turns out his mother drowned his dad and the woman, and hid the woman's body in the attic, I guess. And so, yeah. So then when they get on the roof, he confronts her about it. She eats him, but shoves him into his stomach. He bursts out. This is gory as hell. And apparently this whole climax took 6 days, and they had to, I think it was 6 days, and they had to keep coming back. They filmed it in order because they wanted to keep continuity. It would have been a nightmare otherwise. And they had to keep wetting Timothy Balm's clothes because they would be stiff, so he could get back into them. And yeah, it's nasty. It's nasty. The house is now on fire because of the burst gas pipe. And he says he's no longer afraid of her. That's when he gets stuffed in the stomach. And tries to kill Paquita. But Lionel cuts his way out with the good luck pendant, which was given to him by Paquita's grandmother earlier in the film. It said, this would keep you safe. And then, she falls into the fire! And then, okay, we're free now. And he, throws the pendant away. I'm sorry, I would keep that just in case. And they kiss and they walk off together, and happy ending. Yeah, this was, oh boy, this was insane. And I'm like, well, I have to get a copy of this. Well, turns out this has been out of print for a while, so it's hard to get a copy. I did find one for $35, but it's a Spanish release, like my From Beyond. But the problem is, this movie, due to the gore in this movie, there are several cuts of this film. Let me show you. I want to read it to be... Alright. Where's the... alternate versions? So, there is a 94-minute version, and that's out there somewhere that was cut down. And even then, the unrated cut of the US version was 97 minutes, and the R-rated version is 85 minutes. A lot of gore. The version I watched is on YouTube. It is the complete, unedited, 104-minute cut. That is 1 hour and 44 minutes. Watch that version if you want the gore. It's on YouTube. It's in HD. It looks pretty fucking good. It's for free. No ads. I didn't see any ads on it. I didn't get any ads, I don't think. So, you know. It was really good. I will say, I'm kind of one of those that gets into body horror. I can't say it's to the moon like the other ones. But I will say it's very high. Pretty good. As high as you can go without going into to the moon. I don't think it gets there yet. But yeah, so there it is. That is the last review I'm doing. I will probably do I have some top 10s I need to do. I want to redo my my top 10 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s horror movies because I watched my videos that I did way back when I was still in the bedroom doing them. Those are way out of date. Like I was wondering, really? I even put sequels in there, which I don't do anymore. So they're way out of date. Way out of date. I need to update those. So yeah, I've been working on it. You see the stacks back there? I've been working on it. I think I have the 80s and 90s done. I think. But, so what are your thoughts on Dead Alive or Braindead? Yeah, that's another thing. The movie is called Braindead, but in America they called it Dead Alive because there was already a movie called Braindead. Not that this matters anymore, because nowadays they'll just release. We have 3 movies named Halloween. Right? 2 movies named I Know What You Did Last Summer. They're both in the same franchise, though, but yeah, I don't know. It's one word, too. Braindead. One word. The other Braindead is 2 words. But they said, it's the same, so we're going to call it Dead Alive here. Right? I guess. But yeah, so what are your thoughts on Braindead or Dead Alive? Leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Scott, and I'll see you in the next one.